In the next few minutes, you're going to learn 3 powerful tips on how to improve your Catholic fundraising from the one, the only Saint Robert Bellarmine. Hi, I'm Brice Sokolowski, the founder of CatholicFundraiser.net, a website that is completely dedicated to helping Catholics just like you with their fundraising. Whether you're just starting out, you're trying to find new ways of fundraising, or you're just learning or trying to grow your fundraising and you need some tips. Well, you are in the right place. And before we dive into what Saint Robert Bellarmine has for us today, I want to make sure that you download absolutely for free the 10 commandments to Catholic fundraising. These are 10 things that I really recommend that you should be doing because I've learned them to be very, very helpful. They align your fundraising with your faith. And it's been downloaded by thousands of people, and I've gotten the thumbs up. So make sure that you download the 10 commandments to Catholic fundraising. The link is right below. Okay, Saint Robert Bellarmine. I'm going to be reading my notes, so if you see me looking down or you hear me pause, it's because I'm reading my notes, which also are included in the link right below. Okay, so he is a saint. I believe he's a Jesuit. And he was actually friends of St. Aloysius Gonzaga, and he also helped St. Francis de Sales. And he also is a doctor of the church. An extremely important person. And once again, we find saints collaborating with saints. They connect, they find one another, and they help each other out. And one of the best ways that we can follow their path is by learning what they're doing and emulating. And so today, I want to be talking specifically about a document that he wrote called The Eternal Happiness of the Saints. And what Saint Robert Bellarmine does in this document is he lists out what saints were doing in order to become saints. And within this document, I think there are 3 powerful tips on fundraising, donations, receiving things, and how we can align that with poverty of spirit, growing in our spiritual life, and obviously helping our missions grow and expand and doing more of what God wants us to do, and that is saving lives and saving souls. Okay, here are 3 tips from St. Robert Bellarmine on how to fundraise, how to receive donations, and how to keep poverty of spirit. Number 1 is St. Robert Bellarmine recommends that you don't let money fundraising define your mission. And he lays out the example of Jesus, who being rich became poor for your sake. And he's referencing Corinthians here. He became poor for your sake, that through his poverty you might be rich. And one of the crazy things that he brings forth is that Jesus actually allowed Judas to, hold the purse. Judas was the one who was managing the funds. And of course, Jesus, he knew who the heck Judas was, but at the same time, he allowed him to manage the money. And what Saint Bellarmine says is that Jesus just wanted to demonstrate to the apostles that he didn't really need the money, and he knew what Judas was going to do and what he was like, but at the same time, he allowed it. And so Jesus is telling us not to be defined by our money, and if it goes, oh well. And he also, St. Bellarmine also references that the apostles could have, it would not have been difficult for them to have enriched themselves. So St. Bellarmine also says it could have been very easy for the apostles to gain in wealth because people were recognizing their wisdom, their ability to do miracles, and just the power of these men. And so St. Bellarmine is saying, don't let the money define you. And he's definitely not saying, I don't think, to allow somebody to steal your money, so don't put yourself in that situation. But I think Jesus was setting the example to say, just keep going. The money's not going to be defining you. Even if you lose it, it doesn't really matter. Keep going. So that is recommendation number 1. Number 2 is is this concept that receiving donations is okay. So receiving things is not bad. You don't have to be completely poor in physical things to become holy. It is okay. And he references 2 people in particular. He references Saint Louis, the King of France, and he also references Saint Gregory. And both of these people were very, very prominent, very, very wealthy. But they used, and I'm quoting Saint Bellarmine here, they used common garments, fasted frequently, helped the poor, and were severe to themselves. What does this mean? When you receive the donations, and when you have this wealth, don't let it define you, and don't be buying yourself all these fantastic things, but just make sure that you're using it for the mission. It's okay to have this stuff. There are plenty of prominent, wealthy saints, so money is not an issue. However, it can be if you allow it to define yourself. So that's tip number 2. Follow the example of Saint Louis the Great, the King of France, Saint Louis, King of France, and Saint Gregory the Great. The third recommendation is in the concept of who to look for a donor. We're all trying to figure out, okay, who can give us a big donation. It's all about major donor fundraising. And what Saint Bellarmine is telling us to do is look for people like, and I might completely butcher her name, and I shouldn't because I have Polish roots, but Saint Hedwige, Queen of Poland. And again, she emulated Saint Louis, King of France, and Saint Gregory the Great. She was the queen of her country, Queen of Poland. However, she only had one garment, which she wore even in the depth of winter. She fasted daily, Sundays and great festivals being accepted, so she did kind of dress up for them. But she was very, very simplistic in how she lived her life. And if you're looking for major donors, don't just be looking for people who have large sums of money. Look for people who are trying to emulate this Queen of Poland and who recognize how to use their affluence. Therefore, it's not just looking for any type of major donor. It's looking for people who actually believe in your mission, believe in the Catholic faith, and live it out. Okay, I hope these 3 tips have really helped you. Share this with a Catholic organization, a priest, a monk, a religious nun that you think would really benefit from hearing from this type of information. Share it, leave a comment, let me know what you think, and I look forward to seeing you next week. God love you.